You want to be rude and racist to people that's trying to help you, now you can enjoy half of a roof over your head. I own a small home improvement company. I do all right for myself, but for some reason my family thinks I'm rich. They don't realize that I'm saving money for all 4 of my kids to go to college, and I have 12 employees to take care of. All my money is tied up. The roof on my aunt's house was in deplorable condition. Last July my grandmother talked me into fixing it for free. It wasn't an easy job either. It's a 12/12 pitch, 3 layers thick, with cedar shake on the bottom. Normally I would charge $15K for this type of job, but I let my grandmother talk me into it. I asked my employees to volunteer their only day off that week. To my surprise all 10 of my laborers decided to show up. They all refused to clock in. They told me my family is their family, and for family they only charge cerveza, beer. Honestly, I was humbled by their generosity. As soon as we get to my aunt's house we start setting up, and my guys started playing the radio. They was listening to some very Mexican music. Then my trashy-ass cousin decided she was going to go outside and start yelling at these guys about the music, and had them turn it off. About an hour later, my cousin came outside again to tell these guys to put their shirts on, because she felt like it was inappropriate for her 8-year-old daughter to see a man working with his shirt off. After the tear-off was done, and we installed a new roof deck I went out and got a couple buckets of chicken and a few cases of beer. Everyone was standing in the yard eating chicken and drinking beer, talking and joking around and having a good time. Then my cousin decided to come out yet again. This time she's complaining about everyone drinking on the job. This time I pulled her to the side and reminded her that these guys were doing a $15,000 job for free. I flat out told her she needs to shut the fuck up and get back in the house. That's when she decided to slap me across my face. Right away I called the police and had her arrested. After the police drove off with her in handcuffs, my aunt completely lost her shit. She started screaming at me, and then threatened to call ICE on my employees. She told me I should be ashamed of myself for not hiring legal American citizens. I told my crew to pack up their shit and hit the road. They are nicer than me because they went up and tarped the roof off before they left. About 2 days later, I sent my aunt a text message stating that I expect a sincere, well-written apology letter for all of my employees, if she wanted her roof finished. About a week later I was served a subpoena by the police. My aunt was suing me for damages. I explained the whole situation to the judge, and showed her the message that I sent my aunt requesting a simple apology letter, to which the judge fully agreed on my behalf. My aunt was ordered by the court to write 10 sincere apology letters to my employees, before I finish her roof. She still hasn't wrote those letters, and she still doesn't have a roof. Can you be a choosing beggar over a parking spot? So this happened Tuesday and it absolutely blew my mind. It'll be a long story being the shit show that it is. Every Tuesday morning I go to the library. That is when the new releases come out and everyone rushes to try and get what they want. So library is packed in the morning on this day. Well, this chance encounter happened when I was leaving. I was in the parking lot, walking towards my car when this lady in a big SUV rounds the corner going way too fast. I mean squealing tires, deja vu music playing in the background. Almost flattens me. I am practically hugging a car to avoid getting hit by her. And she slams on brakes as she is a car length past me. She starts to back up. I'm thinking to myself, she is just going to apologize or something, right? Well, it was definitely something, but not to apologize. She rolls down her window and asks me if I am leaving and if she can have my parking spot. So I say sure and start to walk past her vehicle towards my car, which happens to be parked in the back. She's backing up beside me and then slams the car into park and starts yelling out the window, "WTF are you doing? I need you to move your car now." I just keep walking and go to my car. She peels out and speeds around the entire parking lot, slamming on her brakes right behind my car, blocking me in the parking spot. She gets out of her vehicle and runs up to me, yelling and cursing the entire way. She starts yelling at me, "I can have you arrested for loitering in a parking lot. You need to leave now." Now mind you, I am almost 30 and 3 times the size of this lady at least. I'm trying to keep my cool at this point. I tell her, I would like to leave, but you are blocking me in. I point at her SUV and open the door to my car to show her, thinking maybe that dim light bulb will pop on at any minute. But no, this pisses her off more and she starts to yell even more. She starts to point at the car I was clinging to for safety earlier. "No, I need you to move that car, the one that is closer to the front." I am literally dumbfounded at this point. I look at my keys and then back at her. That isn't my car. I can't move it. This lady is just freaking out and drops that one stupid line I thought was made up for every CB post. "You are wasting our time," as she points to her kids in the back seat. "Kids I never noticed because I was trying not to die. You are making us late and now my son." People really use their kids as an excuse? Won't get the movie he wants and you are ruining his day. At this point, I am still holding the movies I got and she sees them. She asks me what movies I have and that she should let her have them to pay for her wasted time. Then she threatened to call the cops if I don't, on the grounds I have robbed her child. I am beyond past the point of having enough, but I can't go anywhere. She still has me blocked in. So I say, "Don't worry about calling the police. I got it." I pull out my phone and begin dialing. She stood there quiet, which was amazing to me, and I talked on the phone and got them to send an officer. He was there in minutes. Seemed like hours, because this lady and I just stared at each other the entire time. No words, just stood there and stared. Officer shows up, gets our statements. She really thought she was in the right. It wasn't her trying to bluff. She really thought I wronged her. The officer told me what she said and what was going on. He issued her a ticket and told her to move her vehicle afterwards. She left, but not in a manner you would think when a cop is present. She sped off. He told me he was writing that down in his report as well and was getting the video from the library's cameras if he can. He even laughed and said it was short of a miracle I didn't hit her. Towards the end, he gave me a card, got my information, and told me he would let me know what is going to happen next if charges are brought against her as I am a witness. And that was the end of it. If I hear back from him and anyone wants to hear what's going on with her, I'll update this. Married into a choosing beggar family. If you think occasionally encountering a choosing beggar is bad, try marrying into a family full of them. I made that mistake. My wife came from full-blooded white trash who assumed that since I worked a decent job, I was obligated to cover all their expenses. Example, I came home from work one day and found my wife crying on the phone with her mom. Her mom had called and was needing $2,000 right away to hire a lawyer or she was going to lose everything and my wife convinced me to give it to her. It was about half of the savings we had at the time. Fast forward a week later, I'm on FB and I see my mill, her partner, and several of my other in-laws have rented a massive condo and are vacationing for a week on the beach. I asked my wife why her mom could afford that but couldn't afford the money for an attorney. She told me that her mom and partner have two bank accounts, one for necessities and one for fun money and they never pay for necessities, like attorneys, out of their fun money account. That is how they paid for their vacation. I had not gone on vacation for 2 years. This was just one example but I would get about 3 to 4 demands for money from her family every month. I was relieved the day I signed the divorce papers. I'm renovating my kitchen, give me free food. I used to work in a fairly small local restaurant in my previous hometown. It was pretty okay, fairly hectic during the lunch and dinner rushes, but other than that, it was easy part-time work, while studying full-time. The restaurant was placed just across the river, from the city business district, and a bit unfortunately because of that, placed in the more rough area of the town. Still no big deal most of the time. We got some junkies coming in from now and then, but most of them were really chill. Except this one guy. So I was fairly new at the job at this time when I got to encounter this particular dude for the first time. Let's call him Devin. I was used working late nights due to my uni studies and was pretty okay with it. Most nights during the week, we had our regulars coming in, chill mom with her extremely well-behaved daughter, which was always a bliss to serve, local politician who never really said anything, but was nice in his own way, good guy MC Weed, who always came in 1 hour before closing, wearing his jammies, ordering everything. Then we got Devin. He must have lived fairly close, since apparently, he comes in fairly often, a few nights a month. This was the first time I saw him though. He looked kind of scruffy, but I just thought he might be working in some sort of building trade, in which you'd probably wear rugged clothes for wear and tear. Devin walks up to the counter, where I'm standing while doing some pre-closing chores. I greet him with a smile. Devin barely looks up to greet me back. Okay, maybe he's tired, I thought. Devin, yeah, could I get some of that and some of that, while pointing at some of the dishes in the hot bar. Me, sure, no worries, I say, while I pack his food in some containers. Me, would that be all for tonight? Devin, yeah. While walking up to the till. Me, so that comes to a total of, insert price, can't remember, probably around $9 or something. Devin, yeah, so, could I get this for free? I'm having a bit of a confused moment for a second. Me, pardon? Devin, yeah, I was wondering if I could have it for free. I can't really cook food at home at the moment. Me, well, no, I'm sorry about that. But I cannot give away food for free. Devin, Looking annoyed now, yeah look, I'm renovating my kitchen, so I can't cook at home. Me, well I'm sorry to hear that, but I cannot simply give away free food because you're renovating at home, you'll need to pay. Devin, aw come on, seriously? Couldn't you just let me pay half or something? I'm starting to get a bit irritated now, as I'm not used to people begging for food, unless they're actually homeless and haven't had anything to eat. We had a regular like that coming in from time to time, who I gladly gave a free meal from my own pay, but here we had a dude asking for charity, while someone else was renovating his kitchen. He was obviously able to pay for it. Me, the answer is still no. I don't have my manager here, otherwise I'd let you speak to her, but the total is $9 and I have to ask you to pay. Devin is clearly offended by me, forcing him to pay for my services and food, that the restaurant is surviving on by selling to people. Devin, okay fine. And he literally throws $2.5s at the desk, and storms off with his food and without his change. You'd think this was the last time he would come in and beg for food, right? Wrong. He continued with his begging in different ways, lost my wallet, I'm really hungry, can I pay later? And so forth. I asked my colleague about him, and apparently, he's been renovating his kitchen a few times before. This is narrated by a robot, but as soon as I get some ad revenue I will pay voice actor. Stay tuned.